Yo, welcome to Six Layers, the comic interview show, period. I'm Mike, the Six Layer, chilling with Mark, the honorable villain. What up, fam?
What's up, Mike? We got a great talent coming from us across the seas. Let them know who we got.
That's right. We have a nice house by the sea artist, Alvaro Martinez Bueno, joining us today, all the way from Spain. But before we chat with Alvaro, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please comment. All right, our next guest, his work can be seen in Detective Comics, Justice League Dark, A Nice House by the Lake, and now A Nice House by the Sea. Ladies and gentlemen of the Stash Land, we bring to you artist Alvaro Martinez Bueno. What's up, Alvaro?
Hey, nice to be here. It's great to be chatting with you guys.
Oh man, it's such an honor. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. We're gonna just dive right on in. Okay, so Alvaro, it's your first time on the show. We'd like to get your comic book origin story. In other words, how did you get your first job in professional comics? Was it American or was it in Europe?
No, actually, no. I became a professional about 20 years ago, something like that, like a professional illustrator. But before breaking into comics, I used to work in advertising and movies. You've probably seen the movie The Impossible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did the storyboard for that movie and other movies in Spain. I spent like 8-9 years working on storyboards and developed many illustrations for advertising and stuff. And then in 2010, I think, I met a Spanish agent, David Macho, who used to represent Spanish artists in the US market. So I met him. He liked I sent him some samples. He liked my samples and decided to represent me. And then we spent 3 years trying to break into the US market. So my first chance was in 2013. My first job was for Valiant Comics. They needed this is something that usually happens. They need something to fill in another artist, and they need 12 pages in 5 days or something like that. Something really crazy. So if you're up to the game, you are in. Then I met that deadline and the following deadlines, and from Valiant I moved to Marvel, from Marvel to DC, and then I stay in DC for 10 years now.
Yeah, so you're still with DC. You still with DC now?
Yes. Yeah, I'm exclusive to DC.
Alvaro, who are your artistic influences? Were they American creators? If not, who are your influences?
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, I mostly read American comic books, like superheroes, Marvel, DC, but also European creators like Hergé, Tintin, I know how they say it in the US.
Tintin? Yeah, Tintin.
Okay. It's probably my favorite comic. Other French creators and also Spanish creators. And then when I was like 12, 13, I fell deep into manga. So this is something that I think happens with us Spanish creators, Spanish artists. That we have a mixture of influences, because we don't have a strong market in Spain. We have great creators, but we don't have a strong market. So most of the things that are published here come from abroad.
Right.
So we develop I think we have each one of us like a unique style because of that, because all the influence that came from all around the world. Aside from all the influences from all over the world, like you said, I think Spain has a very strong artistic heritage. I mean, Spain has given the world like fantastic painters, artists, creators, like for centuries now. So
Right.
I mean, there's something in our DNA that is very artistic. We're a very artistic country. But I think we benefit from the fact that the comic book American comic book industry is more keen to other styles now. I mean, it's there are creators that have like a strong style that probably 20 years ago wouldn't fit in the canon. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
In the 90s, it was all Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, that kind of stuff. But now you have Gabriel Hernandez Balta, for instance, for the Vision series. You have Bill Kisebeli. You have I don't know, David Zaha. Creators that don't fit in the classic superheroes American comic book canon. For instance, you know, I don't know if you had the chance to see the preview pages of Absolute Martian Manhunter by Javier Rodriguez.
Not yet.
It's out in April. It's revolutionary.
We could talk art all day. This is fantastic. But I definitely want to talk about James Tynion. For years now, it seems like you work almost exclusively with James. And so we want to know, what is it about that work dynamic that works so well?
I mean, it's been 10 years. I think we just did 10 years working together a few months ago. So definitely something works between us, because if not, I think the key element is that we know the strength and the weakness of each other, and we get together well. For instance, James is really good with character work, with development of the characters, with the feelings, with expressing feelings, with the conversations, with the that is one of his strongest abilities. But he's not that good in the action sequences. So he knows he can lean on me a little bit on those. He can give me the wheel for that sequences. And otherwise, I know James is really good in dialogue scenes. So I have to, and dialogue, for instance, in The Next House on the Lake, there are several pages of talking heads all the time. So I have to find a way to make those sequences of people just talking interesting, to give it a spin to the sequence, so it looks more appealing to the reader, more interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we get together well. Our crafts go together well, and also we get together well in person. We're friends, so that definitely makes a difference.
Let's talk about your work with Batman and Detective Comics. Tell us what your experience was like working on Detective Comics, and did that period have any significance in your career?
It was a while ago. It's probably my first, for me, the first comic I did for Valiant is the most important one, because it is the one that, I mean, started everything.
Yeah.
But Detective Comics was probably the best, the first book that gave me some spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of filling in the other artist, which was Eddie Barrows, a fantastic artist. But in the end, I ended up doing like 14, 15 issues of the whole.
It was the
story.
Rebirth run, yeah. It was, yeah.
Rebirth run, yeah, that was the run. So I think I was the artist who did more issues of the Detective Comics run, of James' run. So it's probably the book where James and I we found out that we could work together really well. And the things I was talking about in the prior question, finding out what were our strengths, and that was the book where everything came into shape in a way. And also, it was my first time drawing Batman, which was crazy. At first, I was terrified. I was anxious all the time. But then I learned to switch it off, because otherwise you can do like your best job if you are thinking of, okay, I'm drawing Batman and I'm freaking out, and then you have to put that away. So, but it was a fun book because I really like group books. I'm a huge fan of the X-Men, the Titans, the Avengers. I prefer group books than solo books. And then I somehow became like a group artist. The editors. Since then, I only did. Then after Detective Comics, I did Justice League Dark. Then the next House on the Lake. They have huge casts, like all the characters in the same scene all the time. I kind of became a group artist. I don't know how. And then I regretting it all the time because it's so hard. But it was a really fun book. It was a really original take on the characters by James, like putting together a group of characters that didn't get together in the same book before, like Clayface, Batwoman.
Yeah, exactly.
It was fantastic. It was. I think people has like a great. I mean, it's a book that people still recall like fondly.
Whose idea was it to pair you with Dan Jurgens? This question is going to go even farther back in time. You guys worked on the Booster Gold Convergence series. What was it like working with a legend like Dan Jurgens?
It was challenging working with Dan because I mean, not challenging in a bad way. I mean, it's because the man is a legend and he has like a stellar career, but he also knows how things work graphically. You know what I mean? He did some layouts for some pages for me. I wasn't. I didn't work like that before, nor after that. It's like, okay, I'm working over some layout, not all the pages, but some pages, some specific pages. I work over Dan's layouts, so I learned a lot. But I also was okay. I have to do what this man says now. So it was like, okay, but those were strange books. I was having a rough time at the time, like myself, my personal life. So I don't have like great memories from those books, but probably because of my how I was at the moment.
So let's talk more about art, because we interview quite a bit of artists, and a lot of times they always reference something about when I came into my own style, like when I started to draw like me versus me trying to mimic pseudo, my inspiration or whatever. So when did you evolve into your own style, and how long did that process take?
What a question. I mean, probably The Nice House on the Lake was a turning point for me. Because I changed my style like a lot. I also switched from traditional to digital, full digital, and then that was probably the turning point for me. But I don't think I reached my final form somehow, because I still have to merge what the artist I was doing superheroes back in the day in traditional and this style that I developed for The Nice House. I somehow still have to figure things out to become the artist I think I want to be. But I probably won't reach that point because it's always ahead from you. You can reach your goals while making comics. Is like frustrating, but it's the way it is. I don't know. You said, in a way, I'm still trying to mimic things. What happens is most of the time I don't realize that this is something really curious that happens to me sometimes. I don't know, to other artists. In my case, is that then I finish a panel or a page, and then I realize, okay, I was trying to do this panel from John Burns' Alpha Flight. I was trying to do this panel from, I don't know, whatever, George Perez, Titans. But I didn't realize it at the time while doing it. But once it was done, I realized I was trying to mimic something that was in my hard drive somehow.
Wow.
So sometimes you are conscious of the choices that you do. Sometimes you're not. It's a weird thing.
So it's another way of saying there's nothing new under the sun. Everything. There's nothing new.
It's not. We are all like a mixture of things.
You mentioned, Alvaro, a little piece of your art process. You talked about going from traditional to digital now. And so my next question actually was, what are your steps to creating a page? Take us through like a blank screen, because now you're saying digital, right? So how do you even start a page?
It is weird because I am a digital artist now, so I work full digital. All the pages are full digital. But my first idea, I received a script from James, like it could be like a full script or a few pages, 3 pages, whatever. And the first ideas, the first development of the page, the paneling, where are the characters, and it always has to be on paper. I have like a notebook, or in the margins of the script. I print it. I need to print it. I can read it on a screen. I can read it on a screen, but then I have to print it for working on it. I need to print it, and then the first doodles are made on paper exclusively. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. and I have several friends, artist friends, that it happens just the same. With that sketch, I most of the times I take a picture with my phone of the sketch, and then I send it to the computer, and then I put it on a blank document, like a Photoshop document file. Sorry. Then I draw on top of it, just like that. I mean, sometimes I have layouts, sometimes I don't. If I'm on a deadline and I have to rush, I start on the Photoshop file, straight to the Photoshop file.
From that doodle, your doodle blow it up.
Sometimes if I don't have a deadline, I have the time to do doodles and think that things, give it proper thought to the layout, to the layouts. Then I do doodles. If I don't have the time, I start directly on the computer.
You just start going.
Without layouts.
Like Jim Lee style.
I wish.
Yeah. Alvaro, how did the Nice House on a Lake project start? A Nice House on the Lake was 12 issues. Should we expect the same from A Nice House by the Sea?
Yeah. The Nice House on the Lake, James sent the pitch to me in October 2019, I think. A few months before the pandemic. Because I'm saying this because people think that this is a book about the pandemic, because it's people isolated in a house, they can go out, and there are a few elements that can recall the pandemic, but it's not. The project was written by James. Has had this idea in his hard drive for years now, since I don't know how many. But at that moment, we were working in the Justice League Dark together, and James was starting Batman, I think. I was feeling. I mean, I'm very, very proud of my superhero work. I am a superhero reader. I love superheroes. That's my genre. But at that moment, I was feeling that I had to deliver something else to the comic medium, because I'm also a musician. I like painting. I like cinema. I designed books. I designed posters. I did a lot of stuff in my life, and I put that away.
Right.
and I broke into comics because I was working for DC Comics, and I thought I had to fit in the canon, in the superhero canon. So that's what I delivered to the company. Then when James pitched the idea to me, I thought, okay, this could be like a container to all that. I can bring that to the table. So I said yes. But I had to okay, James, I'm in. And also James was, I think Something's Killing the Children was out. It was already a huge success, and he still had a like exclusive contract with DC. I did too. And James said to DC, okay, I have this project, this Nice House on the Lake. I can do it in DC, but I'm only doing it if Alvaro is drawing it. So I said yes. So everything came together perfectly. And then it's weird because I still have to finish like a couple of issues of Justice League Dark before moving to the Nice House. And by the time I was done with them, it was first day of April 2020. I mean, we were in the middle of the lockdown. So we have to develop the full series, all the house, all the elements of the series, while we were locked in our house. In Spain, it was 2 months. We couldn't leave the place. I think in the US was a little bit different. But we were locked in our apartment, and we were also looking at those incredible houses for references, because we have to design like a full house, like an incredible luxury house. And it was like crazy being in our tiny apartment and seeing all those beautiful places. And it was, but at the same time, it was really, really, really fun, because we could spend like a month and a half, something like that, like really focusing on developing the whole series. It was so exciting, so exciting. And the plan back in the day was, DC told us, okay, if the series perform bad, it's going to be 6 issues. If it does okay, it's 12 issues. If it does well, you can extend the story as long as you want. So we decided back then the length of the series, that it wasn't going to be just the first mini maxi series. People think otherwise. People think that that given the success of the first maxi series, we decided to extend the story, but it's not. Really? We have a self-contained story. It's going to last a little bit longer, but we know where we are going, and that was the plan from the very beginning. And I like to make this clear, because many people, okay, this is Nice House by the Sea now. They are trying to, know what I mean?
Trying to milk it, yeah.
Yeah, milk it.
Do you guys have another book planned after that?
I really can't tell. But what I can tell is this is not going to last much longer. This is not a series of 75 issues or something like that.
Okay,
got it.
In the end, you will have like not too many issues.
Okay, we're on our final question. Is there something that we haven't talked about that you want the fans to know about? Any upcoming appearances? Any other upcoming projects?
I don't think. I mean, I don't have the time for anything else.
Yeah.
I became a dad a year ago.
Congratulations!
Thank you. It's his birthday tomorrow, actually. But I'm becoming slower with time, and back in the day, I used to work like 16, 17 hours per day. I can't do that anymore. I'm growing older. I have a baby now. So I'm becoming a slower artist. So I can only focus on one project. And my project for the next following years is going to be the Nice House. That's it. But I have a few things in mind for even other markets, not only US market. For once I'm done with the Nice House, I still don't know, because one thing I learned is that in the comics industry is that things can change in a minute.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Yeah.
But I remember back in the day when James moved from Justice League Dark to Batman, he told me, okay, I'm taking you to Batman. Okay, let's do Batman. Then I did the Nice House. So
yeah.
You never
know. Well, Alvaro, thank you so much for joining us, man. This was great. Wonderful insight about your art process and some background knowledge on the Nice House by the Lake. So it was always intended to be this extended story. It wasn't like you guys were trying to milk things, right?
No.
This was the plan all the time. So there's a planned beginning, middle, and end to this story. So buckle your seatbelts.
That's correct.
Well, that's all for our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the like button. This is Six Layers. I'm Mike, speaking for Mark and Alvaro Martinez Bueno. We are out. Peace.
6 Layers.